Amen. Same, man. It's your boy, JK. Welcome to the LiME Academy podcast. It's great to be back today. I'm with a phenomenal group of people. You know them by now. To this side of me, I have Nichi. This side of me here, we have Ephraim. This side of me here, we have Dr. Michael. And just above Nichi on this side of me here, we have Femi.
Right. Yeah.
Welcome to the podcast. Like I said earlier, today we're going to be talking about finance and how we as teenagers, us as a youth, can embrace our finance. I have a list of questions for our guests. They are trained, they have a lot of insight and a lot of knowledge when it comes to the field. And we're just going to get straight into it, no time wasting, nothing. And my first question is going to be for both our guests. What is finance? Because people might take finance as something different. Actually, my bad. Actually, I'm correct. What is finance? Because my understanding of finance might be completely different to what you guys have of finance. But I just want you guys to let us know with your experience, what is finance and how can you take care of your finances? We're going to start with you, Michael.
Anyway, good evening, gentlemen. I think there's no lady. That was putting me in a fix at a sport, but I can rattle around it and see. Hopefully, I can help you guys. Look, finance is very broad. It's not. I think asking the question of finance is very broad. It depends on the area you are, talking about. But in general terms, finance is about money, about resources. How do you, obtain? There are so many elements that relates to finance. The major thing or what people have in mind is always, my money. How do I manage my money? How do I get the money? What do I use it for? So finance is all about, it encompasses everything about getting the money, managing the money, using the money, and making sure that the money is working for you.
Yeah.
I don't want to go into the technical side of things. I just wanted to give you a broad kind of overview of what finance, is all about. But there are too many elements. It depends on your question. When you break it down, then I should be able to, give you a better insight.
Yeah.
But in a nutshell, that's what finance is all about.
Okay, so I just like to say, as a youth, finance to me is pretty much what you just said, is money. And, finance is such a widespread topic and there's so many things to it. And, as a youth, I can't say I know a lot about it. I only know like the basic things like, stocks and shares and investing. I know some of the basic ideas, but when it gets to something very specific, I have no specific expertise in that. So maybe King David and Keisha, do you guys have any thoughts on this?
Okay.
Oh, you want to? Oh, no, you can go ahead, Michael. You can go ahead.
No, you see, like you said, Kishi, right?
Oh, Nichi.
Sorry about that.
Nishi, no, I'm just the guy that spoke. I mean, look, you just hit the nail on the head. There are so many elements. That's what I said before. There are so many elements to finance. You have to break it down and say, okay, I'm talking about, this aspect of finance. But you as a youth, when parents or you hear peers talk about finance, it all, affects money. It's all about money. So now, when you're talking about investment, that's one of the resources, one of the things you can use finance to achieve.
Yeah.
You want to buy or sell shares. That's what finance can help you achieve.
Yeah.
So that's what I was saying. If you ask specific questions, then I should be able to, kind of throw more light on that. Otherwise, finance is very broad. That's why I use the word money. Finance is about money. How do you get the money? What do you do with the money? How do you manage the money?
Yeah.
I don't know whether,
that perfectly answers the question. Okay. Yeah, and like you were saying, Nichi, for me, when I think about finance, I don't really think about it being really broad. I think of it being about money and everything that money can do for you. But if I put it in that way and you really think about it, then you can think that finance is something that is very broad. But for me personally, when I think about finance, I think about money and what you can do for you. You can use it to buy shares, you can use it to buy assets, you use it to invest in different stock and different things that you want to do in different companies and every other thing. But yeah, that's it basically for me. I just wanted to ask Keisha, do you have any light on the topic and your idea of the concept of finance or finance in general?
Hello, everyone. Apologies for being late. I don't know much about finance. I haven't actually dealt as much with money because I don't have my own house yet, but I am looking to obviously buy it in the future. And I've just done a bit of school banking, etc., a bit of spending here and there, but not as much of finance.
Like that. And yeah, same thing. Femi, what is your idea of finance? What is your understanding of finance? And what do you think? What is finance to you?
Yeah, I want to go alongside with what Dr. Mike mentioned. You can probably say finance is basically uh, divided into three parts. I mean, let's say personal finance, I would say, talking about making money, managing money, and multiplying your money,
Yeah,
just in a very simple term. So you need to know how you need to develop the skill that is related to each of these three components of money.
yeah.
You need to know
So
how to
true.
make it, you
So
need to
true.
know how to manage it,
So true.
and you need to know how to multiply it. Yeah. So that's the personal finance generally. I think is can be divided into those three major components. Yeah.
Yeah, for a fact. For a fact. Now, this is really why we had the episode. What does financial education mean to each and every one of us? For me personally, like Femi has said, it's about making money and like making that money work for you. Because like Keisha said, she doesn't understand or she hasn't handled um money in a serious aspect. And I personally feel like that's dangerous because once you get a job or once you start working in everything and you do not know how to handle money and don't know how to make money work for you, you're basically digging yourself a deep hole from the get-go as soon as you start working. Because as soon as you start working, most people, they're like, yeah, I'm going to get my first paycheck and I'm going to spend it on, them brand new shoes, spend it on this brand new car. But yeah, what does financial education mean? Personally, I feel like, yeah, it's understanding how to manage your money and make it work for you. But I'm going to throw that question to Ephraim. What does financial education mean to you? And have you had any financial education?
Yeah, I mean, financial education for me, it's just related to everyday life. So it's really something that sometimes you don't have to go to a kind of formal school for. Starting from when I was little, if I'm given a pocket money of say $10 to use for something, and somehow I was able to use $8, I could save $2 away. So it starts from as little as that. And then later on, you can take it up to the next level, learning about the passive income, how to become wealthy, because all these things are not automatic. There are education involved.
Such,
So
such.
yes, it's just a lifelong learning process.
Yeah, and I'll throw that same question onto our audience as well. If you guys had any kind of financial education when it comes to saving money, when it comes to buying assets, buying shares, or making money work for you, getting passive income and anything, and if you don't understand these terms that I'm talking about, we'll get into it later on in the podcast. So stay tuned so you can get a deeper insight of finance and how you can make it work for you. But yeah, I'm going to ask Femi and Michael the same question. What kind of financial education have you guys encountered? And what can you tell us to give us advice when it comes to financial education? What can we see? I'm going to go with Femi first this time. Femi first this time.
I think uh, I will go back to those three components because it's just like we've had earlier. Finance is a very broad subject and it can be very complicated. But the more we can simplify it, the better for everyone.
Yeah,
So if we look at those three components to make it, to manage it, and to multiply it.
yeah,
Now, financial education will now have to be targeted towards each of the components. How to make money. You now begin to look at what are the different ways of making money. You know, what are the skills for making money? What kind of work can you do to make money? What kind of businesses, entrepreneurship, uh, activities you can involve yourself in order to make money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that is now learning financial education in that area. Now, when you make the money, you want to be able to manage it because you might make it if you don't have the financial education to manage it, you realize that you are making it, but you can't even know where the money is going. And
Yeah.
then also beyond managing, then you want to know how to invest or multiply. Okay. So financial education for me is targeted towards those three components. It's possible to have one aspect of financial education, maybe to make and not have the financial education to manage or multiply. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So complete financial education should probably cover those three areas.
Yeah.
Thank
For a
you. Yeah.
fact. Fact. Yeah. I'm gonna just throw that same question onto Michael. And yeah, I know
Yeah.
finance is a very broad term, but like, what is your like when it comes to financial education? What is your like go-to thing, and what can you recommend for us when it comes to financial education?
I think if I fail to elaborate on this, I will fail in my career.
Yeah.
Maybe some of you didn't know I have a doctorate in business admin. I'm a chartered accountant, and I run an accounting practice, a tax accounting practice. So financial education, pretty much, I can pick what Femi has said, what Ephraim has said. There are formal and informal financial education. Formal, you can get a financial education through, academic pursuits. There are various ladders, various stages, starting from primary school, like Ephraim mentioned, when he's given a pocket money, to going to a university and doing some other trainings, to achieve that financial education. Then informal, I think we are kind of molded by the kind of family we come from.
Yeah.
Some people would like see how their parents spend money, how they struggle to get the finance, what they use the finance for. And unconsciously, you keep learning. And your parents will you wanted to buy an item for school. Say, sorry, I can't afford this now. I'll buy you this one. Maybe let's acquire this one now and buy this one tomorrow or next term. Informally, you're acquiring this financial education because they are now telling you how to manage. Because even if they could afford to, like myself, my kids, sometimes I know I can buy those things, but I need to tell them you don't get it when you want it
Yeah.
because you need to realize that it's not when you ask for something you get it without knowing why you need those things. So
Yeah.
those informal education is very, very important because you look up onto your parents and all your relations, people around you, to see how they manage. I mean, what they do with the money, how they manage. So you can acquire a lot of training, a lot of education, informally by looking onto people around you. And again, the financial education, again, it depends on what somebody want to do. If you're trying to manage your personal finances, you go to work, you earn money, you come back, what you're going to do with it. That's very simple. But like Nishi said, when you start going into investment, buying assets, trying to, multiply your money, that's when it becomes a bit tricky. You as individual need professionals in many occasions to guide you into the right process, in the right path. Because if you try to do it all by yourself or what you understand, you might be making mistakes and making some wrong decisions. That's why you would have heard about the term financial advisors. It doesn't mean that you can't manage your finances. You can't go and acquire an asset. For example, I might want to invest in a share. Then I meet my financial advisor. It will go through all my assets and liabilities, my family situation. He said, hey, if you buy this, I don't think you should be able to because the return on investment is so and so. So that's where you need a support. And that support is very, very vital. Talking to you, being a youth, you might say, okay, I want to buy a car. Yes, you can just easily show your paycheck. The car dealers will give you the car because they want to sell. They want to sell, make some money. But what is hidden in those contracts you're signing says you have to be paying this amount each fortnight, each week, each month. You need to understand that, okay, can I pay this each week or fortnightly or monthly? Can I afford how much repayments? Most of them will just hide what we call balloon payments. It's just simple buying a car. They will just hide a simple balloon payment at the end of, say, 5 years. And that 5 years, at the end of that 5 years, you realize that the cost they want you to pay in bulk is more than the cost you're paying, the price you're paying today. So, those are things that are hidden. You don't know. You don't know about this. As a youth, you just get it dangled into it. And you realize that, look, by the time you start knowing what is happening, probably about 2-3 years, you're now like, oh, I don't need this car. This car is giving me problems. So you want to change it. And say, okay, this is what you've signed. You see? So this education is not something you can acquire like this podcast we are doing today. It requires time. But you have to focus. I'm trying to make it as brief as I can because of time. So you have to try and acquire, you can acquire financial education through formal or informal means. But please look at how your parents, hopefully the parents are spending, wisely. Look at how your parents, your peers, whoever looks after you is spending. Check whether they are in the right path or just spending lavishly. If you have the money, it doesn't mean you don't have to spend it wisely. So you could from there learn, oh, look, I have this, my uncle, the way he spends money, I don't think he realizes he's making a mistake. So you can learn, teach yourself from your peers as well. You have some friends, even at school, at uni, where you are now, they buy things as they wish. They have the latest phone all the time. Why are you not going to get it at the same time? Because either your parents will not allow you to have that now, or you can't afford it yourself, even if you're working. What are you doing? Informally, you are teaching yourself how to manage your finances. You see? So, in a nutshell, we can acquire financial education through formal and informal. By having formal and informal training. I think I have to stop because I can talk on this for about 4 or 5 hours and I won't stop. So that I'll give you room to ask more questions. Do you understand? Do you guys understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
So thank you for that elaboration.
I'd just like to add that what happens with me, because I am from an Indian background, the thing is that us as kids, our parents actually tend to take care of everything, whether that be finance or any money or food or anything coming in. They tend to take care of every single thing of the child up until they are married and they leave their house and all that and they're gone. In fact, sometimes even after that, if you're like staying with your husband's parents and all, they tend to take care of that. And it's not that I haven't had financial education. I have had it. I still, as a person, I tend to like download apps if I can. Spudshed has got an app. I tend to look for specials and all, so I can save some money. But because I haven't spent as much, I still tend to carry money sometimes. When I go shopping. But the thing is, when my parents buy, they tend to buy like in such a way that it will last us for months. There are certain things that they tend to do that will last us for months. And if they need money, obviously, we can obviously share it around. But because I have grown up in an Indian background, we as kids don't spend our money a lot. And that's why I'm not used to spending it as much. I've still had some financial education. I still try and save whatever I can here and there, whether that be on specials or something. But I haven't experienced spending the money by myself. So I haven't actually experienced living in a household by myself, and like don't necessarily always keep a budget that we have to stay in this budget or something like that. I know there are certain points where we may spend like 100 or something in our shopping because we do obviously go just once in a way and get whatever we want. So I know that there's a budget over there. But with regards to household costs, I'm not as good with that. because I may or may not know the rates of some bills that we water, electricity, etc. And that's why I don't spend as much, and maybe that's why I don't know as much about finance.
I just
No,
like
no,
to
no.
chip in and say that. So sorry, did you want to?
Okay, no, if you wanna, yeah, but I wanted to chip in after you. Go ahead.
I just like to delve away from the concept of financial education, because as youth, although we may have limited financial education, something that we'll all be developing into is the concept of employment. I'm 14 and I'm nearly going to go into employment soon. And King David and Keisha, I'm sure you guys should be looking for employment opportunities soon. And something that school has taught us is the concept of paying tax. In house we've talked about how the cash flow. There's the 2-sector model, there's the 5-sector model, there's the overseas sectors, all of those things in economics. But when it comes down to the very core, we as youths, we still don't know how to pay tax. So I just like to ask all the adults on stage to walk us through the step-by-step process and what exactly to do to pay tax. Because I think, the employment part of this.
Yeah, okay. Let me start by addressing what the young lady said. First, I'll come back to your how to pay tax. Look, coming from an Indian background is not so much different from African backgrounds. A lot of Africans here will tell you the same because we don't want our kids to do anything, basically. In fact, sometimes we don't even want them to even go to work. We just want to provide for them. But the environment we are in now is changing the dynamics. I can't even think of working when I was up to 20-something years in the university because my parents paid for everything. Why should I go and work? What do I need to work? They want you to focus on your education. So I don't know how working is when I finish my university, then you look for work. That's just the process. So, you mentioned that you save your money. Do you realize that you're already teaching yourself the financial education? Because, everything is being provided for me. Why do I have to spend? No. Then when you go to shop, you spend little money. So you're already teaching yourself that you need to save. Time will come when your needs will increase. Your parents will not be doing everything for you. There are other things you want to do by yourself when you go out, when you move out of the house, or even if you are now a bit of an adult, then you realize, okay, I need more money. You realize the savings you have may not even be enough because there are a lot of bills out there your parents are covering at the moment, which you have no idea. So please keep saving because if you can keep saving and just pay your school fees at uni without X, that's a good thing, So keep saving. It's a good thing. But you're teaching yourself that. So coming to the gentleman, about how to pay tax. Wow. Thank you for offering yourself to pay tax because a lot of adults don't want to pay tax, even when they earn a lot of money. So what we mean by paying tax and what you're being taught at school, you get the theoretical point of everything. Then when you get to the real world, then it sets in. You start seeing all those models they are talking about in uni and in high schools. So what they mean by paying tax is when you earn the money, everybody in Australia that works must pay tax on the income they earned. That is how government has been able to provide all the facilities and infrastructures we have been enjoying here in Australia and around the world. So what it means, if you earn a certain amount, there's a certain amount of tax that you have to pay back to the government. That is very, very important. Government does not joke with it because the government does not have any business. The business is you and I. We are their business. That's why you keep hearing them saying, create jobs. Because they know when there are jobs, you and I are working, we pay more tax, government gets more money, then they can now afford to give us infrastructure that we need. They can afford now to provide Medicare for everybody. They can afford to provide a lot for the hospital, for schools, roads, and name it, or you name it. So the concept of paying tax is what we cannot avoid. It's only a dead person that cannot pay tax. But as far as you're living, you earn a certain amount, there's a portion, there's a rate. Then as your income increases, at the moment, there's an amount of money if you earn in a year, you don't pay tax. If you earn only $18,200, you don't pay tax at all. But if you earn any amount over that, then you have to pay a certain amount. There are rates. I think I need more time to teach you how the rates work. But what you can understand is the more you earn, the more tax you pay. And the more you earn, the more tax you pay. So I'm not sure if I've answered your question, or do you want to rephrase it another way?
I'd just like to ask all the other adults on stage, maybe Ephraim, maybe Femi, maybe Joy, maybe you guys would like to add anything about the practical process. Maybe what the accountants do for you to pay tax. Where does the money get deposited to the ATO and things like that?
Stuff.
Yeah, I think just like Dr. Michael, who is an accountant, a total accountant, I've explained. When you work and you earn money, you don't get paid all of the money that you earn. And that's why they will tell you that the total amount you have earned is your gross. That is the total amount of money you earn. For example, if you go to work and you earn $1,000 as your total amount of income, that is called your gross. But before you are paid, the percentage of that money will be held back for the government. It won't touch your hand. And then what will be paid to you is called your net pay or net salary. So before you are paid, government tax is taken away from your money so that you won't hit government tax. Probably, if of course, that is for personal payment, personal salary you are earning. So at the end of the financial year, which is usually the 30th of June of the year in Australia, you go to your accountant and then they do the calculation of all your income, expenses, and all the things that they need to do. Let me just use that word. And then at the end of the day, they'll be able to tell you whether, at the end of this year, you didn't pay enough tax, so you are owing government some money, and you need to pay government the money. Either you want to pay it over time or you want to pay everything at once. Or they might, after they've done the analysis, they may realize that, government have taken too much tax from you. So when we lodge your tax, they are going to refund you some money because they've taken so much tax from you. So when you collect your salary, you don't collect your total salary because government tax is already removed from your salary. And then at the end of the financial year, which is at the end of the 30th of June, then you can go to your accountant and do your tax return. We call it tax return. And then they can analyze all your financial records of the year, income and expenses, and they'll be able to tell you whether you paid enough tax. And just like he said, the more you earn, for example, if you earn 1,500, you're going to pay more tax than somebody who earns maybe $1,000, just for simple analysis. So that's the way it is. As your salary increases, so is the percentage of the tax that you pay also increases with the salary that you pay. Okay, so that's a simple sense of it.
I'd just like to take a moment to for the audience, seeing we have a couple of people in the chat here. I'd just like to ask the question, what are some good and bad financial decisions that you've made? I know that for the adults, you guys have probably developed to a point where you make wise financial decisions. So I'll take this question for us three, the youths, and also Osamu in the background. Hi, Osamu. What kind of financial decisions have you made in the past? I'd like to ask this question to Osamu first. Would you like to answer?
I haven't really earned that much because my mom and dad normally pay most of the money, so they don't really want to give me any allowance. So I normally just ask for stuff for like my birthday or Christmas. So
Do you keep them?
yeah, most of the time I keep it, my presents.
So you've not had the opportunity to make any bad financial decision.
Can I just
In a nutshell, that's what he's saying.
can I also just use this opportunity to announce the fact that even though Sam will be modest, that he's not done much financially. But today's chapter that we are talking about is part of our life book, chapter 6, Youth and Finance. And Osamu was one of the contributing authors. So, Osamu, you do have something to offer. Well done for that little you added there. But can I just say for my own, before going back to Joy, obviously, Michael and Femi have really done justice to that question. But let me say here too that tax system is also a way that the government used to balance welfare. So sometimes you find out that when people pay tax enough, you have enough to take care of those that don't have much. And many times government also use it to give back to those people that have paid so much tax over time. For example, you hear things like tax incentive. So maybe sometimes they may say, okay, they are going to give you back some money through tax for being so faithful and helping other people to survive over time. So I just wanted to chip that in briefly, nature. So that is a bit, obviously, Femi and Michael has really done justice to that question. Thank you.
What about you, Keisha and King David? Have you guys made any wise or not so wise financial decisions in the past that you've maybe regretted or happy that you've done?
Okay, fine. I'll go first. I haven't had a lot of opportunity, as I said, to spend my money, etc. I think I may have made some bad ones, maybe sometimes spending it at the school canteen or something like that. Or in fact, actually, I try not to do it as much. I try to actually have finish off the food that's there at home before I actually try to go out to eat. There are sometimes when I used to think that, oh, you know what, I really want to get this in the canteen, and then I think about the food that's there in the fridge, and I say that I don't actually want it to go bad, so I might as well finish it off. Sometimes I have actually made a bad financial decision by spending it when I actually didn't exactly want to. The good financial decisions, I actually once I got my dad a small gift for Father's Day. So I think that was a good one. It was a watch. And I think I've seen my dad wear a lot of watches, so I think that was fine. It was just a couple of dollars. But as I said, I don't spend as much. So luckily I have had a huge opportunity to make all the mistakes. I've tried to make as much as possible. I have been saving, I think, ever since I was in year 5. Actually, I went when I started saving up in Australia. I was in about year 5 or so. I tried to save up in India. I've got my own piggy bank and all that sort of thing. Save up the money, and I try not to spend it where possible. I just try and save it. Thanks. Over to you, DJ.
Okay, well, that's an interesting story. Thanks for that, Keisha. So as a youth, who's very intuitive and interested about what accountants and people go into finance and what they do. So something that has always interested me, and I'm sure a lot of other youths out there as well, is how money can grow money. So in other words, investment. So, sorry. Can you get the adults on stage? I'm assuming you guys have all done some sort of investment before. So can you please explain what investment is and how you can do it, and how we as youths can get into the stock and share market and things like that to form our own source of income.
Yeah, can I go?
Yes,
Yeah,
please go.
yeah. So, okay, so just I'll go back to the three components that I mentioned earlier that you need to learn when you talk about personal finance and about financial education. You want to learn about making it, managing it, and multiplying it, which is investment. And for you to invest money, once you earn money, you need to know how to manage it. And one tool for managing your money is your budget. You want to have a budget that helps you to define where you want your money to go. That is called financial control. And then from that, you are able to set aside some amount of money for investment. You look at what is going to be your expenses, your savings, in order to do your investment. The money you have set aside for investment, you now decide what exactly you want to do with that money, what investment you want to go into. Yeah, you can decide to buy shares. And what does that mean? There are organizations, there are businesses that are existing. There are already existing businesses, maybe large corporations, and you want to be a shareholder. You want to be part of that. You want to be part of the owners of that organization. That's what it means. If you buy the shares of an organization, it means no matter the number of shares you have in that organization, you can tell yourself that I'm a part owner of this company. So when this company, when they pull together the different money that has come in as investment, they go out there, they do business, they invest the money, they make profit after expenses, because of course they're going to be involved in it. They're going to have expenses in the process of doing business. They are going to pay overhead costs, they're going to pay staffs and all of that. At the end of the financial year, they look at their books, their accountant do the books, and they realize that, oh, we have made maybe 500,000, maybe 1 billion, maybe $500 million as profit. They might decide and say that we can't distribute all of this profit and just share it among ourselves. We need to return part of this profit back into investment so that this organization can grow. But we'll take a percentage of this profit and share it among all the shareholders. And that is what is called dividend. So when you buy shares, at the end of the financial year or in the middle of, because there are some companies that pay dividends twice in a year. So at the end of the financial year or in the middle of the financial year, a particular company can tell the shareholder. So it means when you buy shares in an organization, you become one of the shareholders of that organization. And if the organization declare profit and they are paying dividends, then it means that they are going to also pay you dividends. And now the dividend that is coming to you is your money working for you, because you don't have to go to work in that organization. You don't have to show up in the morning. You don't have to stay till 5 o'clock. All you did is to put your money together with some other people, and they do business with that money. And then when they make profit with that money, they share the profit with you. So that is what is called your money working for you. All right. So because you are not the one working for the money. So that is an example of investment. So there are different examples of what you can invest in that can turn your money around for you. But that is one of the simplest ways to invest. So I think I've laid that little foundation. Maybe some of our guests want to build on it.
So
Look,
I
Did you get my explanation? Did you get my explanation?
I
let,
want to
let,
ask, how do we buy shares, please? I've
Okay,
heard about it. I've heard people do it, but I don't know how to do it myself.
uh, let,
okay.
let, let me help you there, please. What Femi has said is, of course, one of the ways you can acquire or make more money. Shares, it sounds very good. I have to be very cautious in saying this because I don't want you to say, okay, after this podcast, you are asked to go and buy shares. You have to be a financial advisor, qualified, registered, before you can tell anybody to do that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you invest your money there and it doesn't come up like what Femi said, you can sue whoever that asks you to buy those shares. That's why the government has people authorized, like us, to give you specific advice. Okay, in a nutshell, so whatever I'm going to tell you here is general advice. So you still have to go and meet your financial advisor to get a proper advice. So how do you buy shares? You have money you're saving. You can just, there are so many ways. You can go directly to the company or go through what we call brokers. There are a lot of brokers out there. What they do, even say for Comsec, a broker like Comsec, which is a company owned by Commonwealth Bank. So when you register, they get all your details, all your bank accounts, give you numbers. Then what happens is, through there, you can select the type of shares you want to buy. And then they will tell you, you'll see how much it costs. Of course, you pay the money. Once you agree and select those shares, you can purchase them. They will send you what we call contract documents, telling you this is how much you bought the shares for. This is how many shares units that you've been able to buy. And this is what the cost is. That document is very, very vital for your accountant whenever you're going to do your tax return. Because once you buy shares, obviously you're not earning extra income outside what you are doing. Like if you are work in any salary somewhere else. So you have to keep those documents very, very carefully, because if you decide not to sell the shares within a year, we need that document to be able to ascertain whether you will pay tax to the government or you made a loss. So it's very, very simple. You can just register with any of the brokers to purchase a share. There are so many of them. INZ Bank does it, Commonwealth Bank does it, and I think that's the few key ones that you can search. You can search online, but most of them are fraudulent, so you have to be very careful. I will advise you to always get a qualified accountant to assist you, because you might make mistake when you go in to do it yourself without having enough knowledge on what you're going to do. So Nietzsche's question about how do you make money, I think Femi has broken it down, especially the one that you don't have to work so hard. You just do say working at Hungry Jack or wherever, a little stipend you get, you become part of the big organization. You can just say, okay, let me buy only $100 shares. There's no minimum, there's no maximum. You can buy one share, you can buy 10, you can buy 1 million or billion. It depends on what's available. And some people trade. There's some people, what they do every day is to trade. Like you're going to your workplace, they are in their computer trading. They're looking at which share has gone down, which one is going up. So they do share trading. That's what is called share trading. In tax language, if you buy a share and sell it within the same year, it's assumed you are doing a share trading. But if you buy a share today and keep it for over 12 months, it goes into what we call capital. That's, of course, you'll be earning dividend, which Femi touched on. Dividend being reward for giving them your money for them to do their business, pretty much. So that's what that dividend is all about. And some companies, like he said, pays twice, some pay once, some don't even pay anything. You can have shares in some companies that don't even pay because they don't have enough money. They're not making enough profit to distribute. So that's one of the ways. Another way you can do this is, some of you are going to start up your businesses, because as you aspiring and thinking about all these, there are ideas you have that you wanted to do. You might just go into IT, starting your own business, or, instead of working for somebody, you can create wealth. You can create money by doing that. That's one of the ways, apart from going to work for somebody to make money, but you need capital to start, which at this stage, mom and dad can help you with the initial startup, or friends, families. But in a bigger scale, we can go to the bank to borrow money. Even to do share trade, you can go to the bank, borrow money to start share trading. Not only shares, you can buy bonds, government bonds. You can buy gold, coins. There's so many things you could do. See, that's what I'm telling you, my sister. You don't have to pick up one. You need to go to somebody who can just give you all the available opportunities. Then assess your risk profile. assess, what you can invest and make money and what you can, and tell you what the expected returns are. So, but as a young youth, you can say, okay, I just want to buy this thing, keep it there. I can tell you by the time you finish your university, that would have given you a lot of, head start. So I think I'm not sure if I made it clear, but in a nutshell, those are various ways you can make some money.
Yeah, it was clear.
I'd just like to ask the fellow liners on stage here, have you made any investments of your own? I'll start, for example. I absolutely hate it when any of my friends come ask me to borrow money, because chances are that they're not gonna want to pay it back the next time I see them. So a small investment strategy that I have is that if you borrow money from me, there is a 100% interest rate. If you don't pay me the next day that you see me, or the next time you see me, you have to pay double that amount. It's so that you can borrow money from me, but I'm gonna want more back. So basically it stops people from borrowing money from me because I don't like it when people borrow money from me. So do any of you have any more of these little tricks for investment?
Nietzsche, before you go to King David,
mine is much better.
King David, sorry. Before you go to King David, if in Nigeria, Nietzsche, I would have said you are an Igbo man. I mean, not to be rude as if there's anything. They are very business minded. Every morning will work. That part of Nigeria, and in a positive way, I mean it this way. And I think to be thinking that way at this stage is not bad, but I think you need to give your friend a little bit of slack. Sorry, King David, to jump in there.
No problem at all. So what's like my plan is much better. Yeah, literally, kudos to you making it double the next day, but mine is much better. I put a low interest rate, so people go like, yeah, I got time. Man hasn't paid me back in over half the year. Guess what? It's doubled, it's tripled, it's 4 times what he's meant to pay.
Compound interest.
And I'm basically boiling. I'm not joking. Like I put like a 1% interest rate, and people think it's like that. Like it's that funny, but like it doubles every single day. So second day it's 2%. So I'm gonna be boiling by the time they pay me back. There's no way. But like what Michael was saying as well, like my plan is like when I get to one stage with my life and I want to make like a bigger investment, I'm gonna borrow money from my parents, my uncles. We're gonna start like a community, like a financial group. There's a book about it. I forgot what it was, the mastermind club and all that stuff. And each person is gonna like donate money for us to invest in a company. Maybe Apple's coming up with the iPhone 12, and also maybe aid kids for COVID-19. That's going to be going up as we're looking for a cure. So we're going to invest in it, and depending on how much you invest, when we do get returns on what we invest, we're going to divide it evenly. But that's something I'm currently thinking about. But I'm trying to reach a point where I'm more like, I have good enough income coming in so that I can put enough money into the investment. It doesn't have to be a lot, but most investment companies have a starting rate where you have to pay for Apple exam, for example. They have to pay $200 or something like that for you to actually buy one single share. So I'm trying to make sure I get to a point where I have enough money left in my bank account after I pay that $200, so I can keep on living, buying my necessities and all that stuff. But that's the plan that I have, and I have constantly thought about shares and all that stuff, because by the time I'm 30, hopefully, I'm praying about it every single day, I'm retiring. I'm retiring. Passive income. I'm retiring. I'm going to be living in Tahiti. Tahiti. You know what Tahiti is?
That is very ambitious.
Look, honestly, you youths are inspiring me. In fact, I've made a lot of mistakes. I like the way Nietzsche is saying that. 100%. If I can tell you, King David, if your dad borrows money from me, he doesn't pay, and I can't do him anything because that's a Nigerian thing. And I'll tell you why. If Ephraim borrows money from me, he's not gonna pay me. In fact, if he manages to pay me that one he borrowed me, I'll be very happy. And I like the way you guys.
You won't pay me.
Yeah. If I do the same, I'm not gonna pay them extra. So this is how we live. We live a communal life. And I like the way you guys are thinking, because this is what is called economic management. You are microfinancing that little resource you have, but you don't know. You're already a bank. That's what bank does. There's nothing. The bank doesn't have money. They only trade it with your money you give them. They charge interest here and there. They pay themselves millions of dollars every month. They have no money. That's why if you want to go and withdraw your money from the bank, say everybody in Western Australia goes to all the bank one day, they will stop giving money to anybody because the economy is going to die that same day. So what you guys are doing in terms of being this proactive now and the foresight you have, oh my God, look, I can't wait, I can't wait to, be part of this, your success. So that's very, very good. And King David, kudos to you. 30 years of age, you're going to retire. I wish you good luck, mate.
that is great. Wow. Can I just, Dr. Michael, I know that this is why it's good that you said some things earlier on that linemans that want to speak may come to you for some kind of advice. And also Femi is there. It's always been a mentor for linemans. But because we have, sorry for the noise, because we have a mom and son on the platform, I'm keen to hear Joy's perspective and Samu. How do you start early? Because we don't want to wait till we can get to retire at 30. Osamu is just, I think, 12 now. So Joy, as a mother, as a LiME mother, how are you building that habit? Can you share with us? I'm sorry, Nietzsche, I think because of time factor, we need to get to that slide that Femi has to share later on.
Yeah, okay.
Hi everybody. I am so happy for such a platform. Like Dr. Michael told us now, like personally, I would have loved to be in your shoes now because we have made some really, like mistakes or we're not aware of some things before we got to where we are now. Having such opportunities as a LiME, to me is a big thing because we've spoken a lot. Pastor Femi has said some things, and Dr. Michael has said some things about influence. Having such a platform to me is key. Like King David talking about retiring when he's 30. I don't know, but kudos to having such a vision because you won't be thinking like this. I don't think if you have not been in such, a platform, such an environment, So to me, it's key. And having Osamu, in such a platform as a mother, I think I don't know any mother that will, not want such a thing for, her kid. Recently, he's asking to be paid for learning how to mow, asking to be paid for washing dishes, asking to be paid for everything. I'm like, if I'm paid for everything I do as a wife,
I wish. Do you know how much money I have in my bank account right now if that happened to me? I wish.
So, to me, I think it's a generation thing. But yeah, you guys have gotten a lot. That's why I feel you've gotten a lot of resources, a lot of influence that you have so much ahead, in your future. You can do a lot. You can do so much that we didn't do. So yeah, like he has said recently, I think we're just talking. And a point of influence, coming back to point of influence, like, you've heard before, we can start with our parents, like, getting to be aware that you can't just buy anything because you want it. That's education, that's, learning from there, and having this mindset of, okay, I need to get more money, I need to save, and we discuss, like, after you get this money, hope you're not going to buy a new video game, So no, I want to keep some money because I don't have anything, people don't give me a lot of pocket money. So you can say something, Samu. So to me, I think I'm really, really happy as a mom for such platforms like this, It's a starting point. And as I said, the future is a sky is not even the limit for you guys, in terms of, having financial freedom,
Yeah.
You can,
Yeah.
you want to say something? You're part of the book. You have to say something.
I already did.
You can say something again. So what are you thinking? Like you just told me now about, really having because he asked, as I said, he has money for everything. Now he said he needs a really piggy bank. We're going to open an account, especially for something. We have not done that. But he's telling me, Mom, I need to have a piggy bank, like really, So you just say something like that. So why are you thinking like that?
Because sometimes I feel like sometimes parents don't feel like that you should just be, or you shouldn't worry about those things, and that you should just
Study.
yeah, and worry about your homework and stuff in school instead of trying to earn something yourself for the future.
Yeah. Nature.
Wait, before we continue, I just want to say something real quick. Before we go into that, but in the Nigerian community, the African community, there's something we call ajo. I don't know what the English translation for that is. If my Nigerian family can help me out, but it's basically where a group of people come together, and I'm not sure. I think they have this in the Chinese community or something like that. I'm not too sure, but where people in the community or a community, or it doesn't have to be a Nigerian community, people would just come together and decide that. Once or twice a fortnight, depending on how much you want to, they raise money together, and then like depending on, I can't really explain it that much. My dad and maybe anyone else in this group, in the group from Nigerian company can explain it more better than I can do it. But like they raise money together, and then each person in that like contributes to get making the money. They like receive the money when it's their turn. For example, if myself, Nichi, Keisha, or everyone in this group chat was part of the money fundraising thing, we'll all raise maybe 10,000 is what we're trying to raise. So each of us will pay like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, that doesn't work. Let's say we're trying to raise 7,000. So each of us will pay 1,000. And that 1,000 is going to be first. Then whoever is second, when we raise another 7,000, that 7,000 is going first. Then whoever is next, that 7,000 is going to go to them. And then it keeps going on and on. And depending on how often you do it, you can do it for like a month or like 6 months. And then like every fortnight or every week, depending on how often you guys pay, you guys get money raised for you. But it's a great strategy. It's a phenomenal strategy. Something I'm going to be looking into when I start working, trying to find me some plugs and all that stuff. But yeah, off to you, Femi. Kill it, knock the ball out of the park, end it here.
Okay. So, if you're talking about the Ajo, is that what you're talking about? You want me to mention? Yeah.
Go back the slide. We'll talk about the Ajo later.
No, I think, we just got a minute.
Yeah, in 1 minute, I've been very passionate about the concept of finance, and I've read books over time, and not too long ago, I was able to come up with this particular triangle. I will explain it quickly, and we've used it in several coaching sessions. What it just says is this: that all of us we usually start at the base level, and that is financial illiteracy. And people manage their money without understanding how money works. And then they get financial education. Financial education helps them to move from financial illiteracy to financial awareness. It's like getting to your aha moment and realizing that, oh, I've been doing it all wrong. I've been wasting my money, or I've been making wrong financial decisions, So financial education is like it creates an awareness, and it gets you to your aha moment. And then as a result of that, you begin to take action based on the financial education you've gotten. And the first set of action is financial control, taking control of what goes out of your hand, and probably maybe through budgeting. So so on the right side, you were seeing what you need to do to move to the next stage. So if you're in the stage of financial awareness, if you don't take action, you'll be locked into financial awareness. You have a lot of information about finance, but you've done little about it. So when you start taking action, you see the importance of financial control in everything about your finance is very, very important. And then financial control, you get to that level, you begin to manage your money and you begin to tell your money where you want it to go rather than your money telling itself where it wants to go. Then we go to financial strategies. Financial strategy is now like making sure that every aspect of your financial life is well taken care of, just like Dr. Michael was talking about. You want to make sure your insurance, your tax, your all the packages that are superannuation, everything that you need to do, you put it in place. It takes you to the realm of financial peace because you are not yet there, you are not yet at the realm of financial freedom, but you have rest of mind that you are moving there. Now, when you continue and you are persistent in that financial piece, you are following the financial strategy that you have, it takes you to financial freedom. Financial freedom is where you can retire and your passive income can take care of your needs. That's financial freedom. And then at that point, you want to diversify. You also remember it was mentioned earlier that you can invest into different things, entrepreneurship, buying maybe shares, buying mutual funds, buying bond, government bond, and different things. So you diversify your investment. Then it begins to bring multiple streams of income. That leads you to financial wealth. And then when you get to the point of financial wealth, you begin to plan for the future stewardship of the money that you have the privilege to be able to have, and that takes you to the level of legacy. You see people that are saying, "I'm giving donation of billions of dollars, hundreds of millions, or thousands of dollars to non-for-profit organizations just to advance the cause of humanity." That's the legacy they are leaving there. So that's just a summary of that triangle. Thank you for the opportunity to explain it here. So if you just follow that format, it might be able to give you where am I now on my journey towards financial legacy, and then you can know what do I need to do to move to the next level. Thank you.
Honestly. Yeah, that's really good. That's really good. But yeah, thank you, Femi, for we love our crows, Femi. Let's share these great gifts to us all crows. But thank you all for participating and thank you for your busy days to come and join us. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Femi. Thank you, Joy. Thank you, Osamu. Thank you, Ephraim, Nichi. Always a great pleasure being with you guys. And our audience, hope you guys got a lot of insight into finance and different things like tax. Like I wish we had more time, to get things like superannuation as like it's coming up real soon for us that are graduating, or even for most of the audience here, it's already a thing. So or most of the guests here, it's already a thing. But thank you guys for participating. Fortunately, this is our last episode, but there's always a but. It doesn't mean LiME Academy is ending. Soon we're going to be having public speaking sessions, hopefully. So keep in touch with us. Stay tuned on our Instagram, and we'll let you guys know what's happening for the next phase of LiME Academy. It's been a pleasure on this 7-episode podcast. We're coming back with more for a fact. But yeah, so right now, I'm going to move away from it right now and go back into public speaking. But thank you all for being part of it. We love you guys. Hope you guys have a great rest of the weekend. Stay safe. Bye.
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 Bye. Bye.
I'm proud.